Okay, so welcome. We're so pleased to see you all here, and you have joined the online resources for students, News for You, and GED online programs. You're welcome to put your questions in the chat. Shannon will be watching them, so thanks, Shannon. And this session is going to be in two parts today, but you don't have to come and go any more than you already have. From now until about 3:25, Anne's going to be discussing News for You online. It's kind of a refresher or maybe an introduction if you're not using it already. This is something that all tutors and instructors and students can use to really build reading skills and build them around current news articles. Then we're going to take like a 5-minute break, but you don't have to go out, just turn your camera off. Go ahead, get a cup of coffee again. And then at 3:30, Anne will be back with the New Readers Press online learning and the DCF GED Prep Online. And I know it gets so confusing because we offer these two great options for you, for your students who are maybe working towards GED testing or are GED testing. And Anne's going to kind of break down about what works best for which kind of student. So welcome, Anne. I will do a
Greetings.
very quick introduction and then it's going to be all yours.
Yay.
Yay. So for nearly 24 years, Ann Beeson has worked with literacy and adult education programs in 10 states. As an independent sales consultant, Ann offers resources for adult learners, primarily through New Readers Press. And she has a master's degree in curriculum and instructional design from the University of Minnesota. And that's why we're excited to have her here. So, Ann, it's all yours. Take it away.
Because it was the University of Minnesota, go Gophers, right? Okay. Sorry. Hey everyone. I'm just sharing the slides right now. We're going to do a lot of slide sharing and then, so you can see what the different things are. But one of the things, I was thinking about this and I thought, whenever I look at something like this, I want to go, okay, why am I looking at this, right? What is the reason I would be looking at this thing? So all three of these products are actually offered for free to members of Wisconsin Literacy. So Wisconsin Literacy offers all three of these programs for you. So the question then becomes, why would you use something like this? So I'm just going to do a quick why it matters from my perspective, why it matters. And I always try and channel my instructors and teachers and tutors and students too. But so News for You Online will go into almost right away. And that is like one of my favorite products. I'm kind of a tactile person, so I do like an actual newspaper. But News for You, this product is actually one of the initial products that New Readers Press offered when they started as a nonprofit company, I don't know, over 60 years ago now. And the News for You online program started while I've still been with them. So I started with them in about 2011. So it wasn't too long after that when it started. So it offers all of the newspaper information that's current information. Why does this matter and what's good about it? So you always do your student your lesson plans and your process based on what your students need, but sometimes you kind of need something that's not just standard curriculum, but something that I like to call dessert. Okay, it's a little bit more entertaining, it's a little bit more interesting. So, and it's written at a really lower reading level. So, like if we're talking about, the articles are written either at a second, third grade level or a fourth or fifth grade level, but they also have all audio. So if you've got ESL students who are still struggling with understanding English, that'll help you do it. So you can use it. Having this resource, all you have to do if you're on the multiple site license agency, so not all the agencies have it for News for You Online, but just reach out to your consultant if you're not. And I do have the list right next to me. So if somebody has a particular question, I can answer that. If somebody has wants to know, are we part of it? But basically how it works is your consultant gives you the password and then you, all your colleagues and all your students can use that one same password to access the program anywhere, 24/7, any device, because it works off a browser. So we'll look at it in some detail just a second. DCS GED Prep Online is just only GED preparation. I started working with this guy in 2010 when I went independent. He's out of, ready for it, Kenosha, Wisconsin. And he created a GED prep online program. And I got to know the guy because he was buying official practice tests from Steck Vaughn when I used to work for them. So that's how I got to know him. So when independent, I started selling his product. The reason why I still offer it, because it really is a little bit uh, low tech, I think is a good way to call it, is that it is both in English and it is also in Spanish. So you would really, I really kind of have people who are interested in taking the test in Spanish to use this as a resource, because I think it's a little bit better than, using maybe other programs like New Readers Press Online Learning with the Google Translate, although that works fairly well, but it's about 80% accurate. So I don't know if that's good enough. I tend to think no. So anything that's done in Spanish is good. New Readers Press Online Learning, yes, it has GED prep. It has a GED prep course, but it also has a pre-GED course, and it has TABE reading, TABE math, and TABE language. And so you have a seat access to any one of those that you can do. Okay. So if you are a member of Wisconsin Literacy, definitely, reach out to your consultant or reach out to me. And matter of fact, if you know your consultant, you want to email us both, that's great. Because I always let the consultant know if you all directly contact me. But anyway, so let's get started. All right. Let's see. How am I going to do this? I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to have to go stop sharing and start sharing here. So bear with me for a second. Let's see if that worked. Y'all seeing news for you? Oh, I see nodding heads. It's excellent.
Yes.
Okay, I should also start that if you write anything in the chat or you want to just interrupt along the way, do it. Okay, I cannot be offended. It's not possible. Okay, and I'd much rather answer your questions right away than have it slip by. So this is the website, News for You. What it basically is every Wednesday there are 7 new articles that are published, and they all come from the Washington Post and the Associated Press, which is kind of excellent. And then so they get the articles and then they rewrite them at a lower reading level. All right. So just to do a visual here, this will you're in the right place, and actually you can find it just by going to the New Readers Press website. And then over here, I've already signed in. There'll just be a little white box and it'll tell you to put in the password. If you continue to use the same device, I'm pretty sure it remembers it, because I know, like on my laptop, if I don't sign out and then I go back in and News for You online, it's already signed in still. So, and that doesn't affect anything on this end. If it's just make it easier. Once you put the password in, you're good to go. So I'll just go from the top and work down, and we'll just see, so you can see how it all works. We're at the home page right now, and as I scroll down, you'll see what the articles are. This talks about News for You and how it all works. This is a gigantic list of tips for teachers. And so this is like basically ideas for, you want to do something with New Readers Press. Here's how to, News for You. This is how you do it. Archive, gotta tell you, probably my favorite part of the whole thing, because if you are using the paper, which is great, but you only have 7 articles, the archive allows you to go in and type in a search word, and it will then pull up any article that has that search word in it that's been published on News for You online in the past 10 plus years. So if you just decide, it's in the middle of it's April, right? And then all of a sudden the sirens go off, the test sirens, like, what's that, right? So maybe you want to do an article about tornadoes, right? So you can just type in tornado and all these articles will come up about it. So even if you want to do something really current, it's right there. And then this is just about subscriptions on purchasing a renewal, and that's not an issue for you. So I'm scrolling down a little bit. You can see these are the articles that were released on February 12th through February 18th. Right away, you can see here's the headlining story, which is, well, actually starting out with a news roundup. Um, so there's an article here about Trump. And then, but sorry, I'm skipping. On the right-hand side, this is my favorite thing, and I haven't done it yet, so we're going to do it right now. But the weekly poll is new every week on Wednesday, and everyone should vote because it's pretty cool. And plus, you can probably figure out pretty quickly how to do a quick math question having to do with percentages. Okay. So, do you think US should own Greenland? Right. So, everybody should vote. I'm going to say no, I don't think they should. And as soon as I do that and click vote, then you automatically get responses of everybody who's using it and has voted. So it's kind of fun. Right now, there's not a whole lot, but then, um, we'll see. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes people forget about it, but I always like to do it. And if you missed one, you can always click here and see the previous week's polls. So let's scroll down and see some of the other articles here, and then we're going to pick one to just kind of look at. So, and what's nice is they're captionized. So this one is particular. This one's on a national article. This one is in a world, a category. So this is world. This one about Japanese car makers merging to compete. This is a business article. And we are going to jump into sports because I thought this was a pretty weird article. So let's look at this one. Woman ran a marathon a day in 2024, which is just a little insane. So if we want to look at the article, we're just going to click on read and listen to the full story. Did I do that? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so once I do that, then I get the visual that comes up. And just before we go down into it, though, no, that's right. So every time you see this signal here, that tells you that there is audio. And we've already shared audio, so hopefully it's going to work okay, but I'm going to click on it because it's going to read the description below it. Oh, wait, no, it isn't.
Hilda de Sonia blows out candles on a cake after crossing the finish line of her 366th marathon of 2024 in Ghent, Belgium.
It's just a little crazy. Okay, so we're going to go down and look at the article itself. If you click on as you see what I'm doing is I'm clicking on a sentence and it's highlighting. If I click and highlight on that, it'll read it out loud to us.
She had run a marathon every single day of the year.
Okay, but if I want to listen to the whole article from top to bottom, I click here.
She had run a marathon every single day of the year.
But first you got to click on the beginning of it.
Belgian runner Hilda de Sonia stopped running on December 31st, 2024.
Sometimes I do these things and I go, oh yeah, this is how it works. You want to listen to the whole story, click on here. Okay, so there you go. The other thing that I really like here is the changing of the text size, because people have complained about that. Sometimes, oh, the articles are hard to read because they're so small. We can just click on this, and every time I click on this, the print gets larger. This is the biggest it gets. Bring it down here. And that's the smallest it gets. So like it's three different sessions on it, sizes on it that are kind of nice. As you scroll down, you'll see there are particular articles that have, oops, hang on. There we go. A little shaky there. If you click on any one of these words, it's going to tell you the word type it is. So this is a noun. And the word beating in this case means pain or injury. And it's one of our words this week that students need to learn. Again, strain is another noun, a feeling of stress because you were trying to do too much. You think? 366 marathons? So you can see how it's listed. And as I scroll down, here's the vocabulary words that are coming out this week. And every single one of them that's blue like that, you just click on it, it'll tell you the part of the word, part of speech, and then what the definition of the word is. And it's always good to make sure and run through that before you have the fun. And the fun is the crossword puzzle. Okay, so I'm going to just go over here so you can see how that works. I'm clicking on the crossword puzzle. It's really kind of standard. You know, if it's kind of intuitive also, it looks a little kind of basic. Um, let me see. Underground parts, I was looking for an easy one. Underground without having read the articles, right? Okay. So I've clicked on the word underground parts of a plant. So I'm going to guess here what I'm doing. Oops, is I'm going to use my keyboard and I'm going to type in the word ROOTS. Okay. So if I want to make sure, I can do check. And then let's say I'm going to try something else. I'm going to do cozy place to stay for the night. I have no idea what that is. I could guess, but I don't know. So I'm going to ask for a hint. And it's going to give me one of the letters. So if you can't quite figure it out, it'll give you a little bit of a hint. If I do a hint again, no, it's not only going to give you one. So I always wanted to check. So this is a really standard sort of way of, crossword to work at. And I'm sorry, can you all see this? The cross, okay, good. Okay. All right, let me close that up. And then a word search is really just like any other word search. And these are just actually a lot of fun. So whatever, now I was looking at another one. Oh, good. I always wonder whether or not I can see the word quickly, but I see one. Now, if it was wrong, it would tell me it's wrong. So if I go like this, cake, it removes it for me. All right. So word searches are always kind of fun to do just as a break. And, I could see having a little contest with how quickly can you finish them, how many words can you find in a period of time, right? Just for fun for everyone. There is a teacher guide that comes with every single edition that comes out. So every Wednesday, you'll be able to see the student copy guides. Hang on one second, okay? Good idea to close the door. So this week we can actually see it. It's a little bit difficult to see in this format, but you can download it and print it, and which I think is actually, if I was going to use this as a teacher, I would use this particular one. I would use it to go through it, to decide what I wanted to do with the students today. Okay, we'll get rid of that. And then if you want to see a really kind of excellent and short video on News for You Online, how it all works, just click on this video and play it sometime. It's just, as a walkthrough, it's actually super helpful. Let me scroll down the bottom, see if there's anything else. Oh, this is my favorite, one of my favorite parts. It's not my total favorite, but it's close. Um, at this point, your students, after they've read the article, can respond to it and be published in the News for You online, which says you could, be published if you wanted to. So that's kind of cool. There is, by the way, someone who does monitor it. So if somebody does something that's inappropriate, they do remove that stuff, but for the most part, people really do a good job. So, people can just say whatever it is they want to say. And sometimes they'll write a little paragraph about it, which is a really great exercise, a writing exercise for pretty much anyone. You could have a student do that, pick the article they want to write about and then respond to it. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you can actually do it for a previous article, but I think you might be able to, and that'd be kind of fun to do. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. Makes it pretty easy to kind of maneuver through it. But I wanted to show you the tips for teachers so you can kind of see what that is. There's a bunch of categories on the left-hand side. So depending on what it is you'd like to do, so if there's something you want to reinforce on something that you may have worked on with a student that day, or something that's coming up, you could work on, reading comprehension activities. You can work on, visual literacy with maps. I'm a huge fan of news literacy, getting students to understand resources and how effective they are and what you can trust and what you can't trust. All kinds of things, numeracy, presenting, pronunciation. There's just tons of things. One big caveat though, because I'm a little bit, I'm an independent sales rep. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you what I think is good and things that might be slightly problematic. And I have brought this up, but there's a lot of these activities that um, actually work only with a physical newspaper. And so I was actually asking them to put some sort of indicator next to a title of something. So for example, let me just click on comprehension. Um, this actually could be okay. But you'll find that all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, it'll tell you to take the physical copy of the paper and do something. You really can't do that with an online program. So just be aware of that when you go through some of those things, you'll run into that. And if you think it should be identified in the outline, then you should contact the editor. I would say sometimes they listen much better to a customer than they do to the sales rep. So if that would be helpful, do it. But there's just tons and tons of things here. So here, story, sequence, and summary. Sequencing is a gigantic thing as you get higher up in your learning curve when you're trying to get to get your high school diploma. Being able to do sequencing is huge, not just in reading, but in math and in everything, in writing, social studies, and all of it. So you see, like here's an article, it might be a little bit of a problem. Take the article and cut it into 3 and 4 pieces. Okay, so that's a little bit of a problem if you're online. But you can come up with different ways of kind of doing things as you look at some of these ideas. And then I'm going to go up and real quickly, I'm going to go to the archive. And because I said it before, I'm going to try tornado, right? So I hit search. And right now there's 33 results. So I'm not sure if it pulls it with the most number of words tornado in each article. I'm not sure if it might just be pulling a variety of different things. But you can see all these different things that are here. If you hit get more results, this is all of them. And you can just keep clicking on them and more. So if you don't see an article that kind of resonates with you, you can just keep clicking until all the results get there. When you're searching, if the word, like when I first did it, the first time I put in tornadoes, the first time, I hardly got I get nowhere near as many results. So if you're searching for something, make it in the singular rather than plural when you're looking. You have a better chance of finding something. But this we can just go ahead and click on this. 434 tornadoes in 2 weeks. This was published in 2019. Okay. Oh, and by the way, for every article, there are article exercises. So if you just click on the article exercises, it opens up and you have answers. So you can do a little comprehension test. This is an inexpensive product. It does not save the student's information. So if you need to save it for some reason, have the student log it down for you, like how they did, but it'll have you, go ahead and answer the articles, answer the questions and then say how you do it. So let's see, let's go back. And then we'll go back to home. And guess what? It's 3:25. Does anybody have any questions? I think it's pretty simple. So I should probably say this as more people have come in since I started. I'm talking today about 3 different programs that are offered to member agencies of Wisconsin Literacy. If you are not a member of Wisconsin Literacy and you want access to any one of these programs, whether it's, you want to do a little trial, see how it feels on your end, or, like my News for You online is a 90-day pilot if you've never used it before. That's available to you and you can just reach out to me. Or you should just become a member of Wisconsin Literacy if you aren't already. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. So you know what that means? That's 3:31. I'm looking at the time. Are we okay with that? Okay. I'm just going to take a few minutes with DCS GD Prep Online. I had a little trouble getting a hold of Len, which is very unusual. So I'm a little worried because he's a really good guy and he's a lot older than I am. Let's put it that way. And I'm no spring chicken. So we're going to just kind of show you quickly, kind of a quick visual on what it looks like. So let me go ahead and share his screen. There we go. And I meant to say this earlier. I keep looking to the left. I have my cameras on my laptop, and then I have a nice big monitor. So I'm always looking this way to see. So you get my lovely profile as I do this. Okay. So DCS Prep Online, I'm actually clicking on the home page. So when you first land here, this is this is your basic home page on every website. New Readers Press has one. Everybody does. So in this case, what we're going to do is he has things for now. Has the task test, which doesn't exist anymore, but he does have it set up for the GED and the high set. The high set. High set is not an issue for Wisconsin because it's not approved yet. It may never be, but as of now, it's not. So we know what we're doing. We are going to go to the products, and we're going to look. Let me see. Let me do this. I think we want a tour. Okay. So we're going to ignore this because when he first came out on the market, he started selling directly to students. And what you would do basically is people that found the website, they would go to the website and he would physically send you copies of the official practice test to take. And then you would send the results to him and he would tell you what to study. Pretty cool. So this is a very small company. I think there's maybe 3 of them, maybe 2. And Len owns the company. He's out of Kenosha. And that was another reason why I wanted to carry his product because, he's local. And I'm like, good for you for doing this. So then he came up with a site license that I was able to sell. And so I have customers actually in probably about 5 or 6 states that still use this product. So it does all the basic things you need to do. So it'll have a pre-test, instruction, and a post-test. So that's, and there's all kinds of information on here. So we'll start right at the top. This is for an individual membership. So we'll ignore this because you're part of an annual site license through Wisconsin Literacy. So to see what a practice test looks like that, I'm going to click here for a practice sample test. So when I said low tech, I wasn't kidding. This is what it looks like. Okay, but having said that, there are some students who really like it because of its simplicity. There's not a lot of stuff going on. There's not a lot of stuff. It's just really kind of basic. So, it tells you exactly what the directions are very simply. That he wants you to answer all the questions. Don't skip any, and you have 90 minutes to do it. You would then go backwards, go forward. It's that simple on how you move through it. This is a screenshot, so it's not live, so I can't actually do anything, but just to give you a sense, here's a typical question. So this one is for social studies, and they have a couple of different political ads that are listed here. And then, there's questions that they ask you about those things. He aligns it a bit to the GED test. So it has the same kind of things like drop-down menus and different, multiple choice items and drag and drop and hotspots. So he has worked all that in with this new version that's aligned to 2014. It will not be listed on the GED Testing Services website as an approved vendor. To do that, you need to pay them, and they need to analyze your product and pay them. And he's a really small guy. So, as a small company, and it's really difficult to do that. But, I got to tell you, the customers have been using this for years and use it all the time. So I don't argue with them. I'm going to close that. Let's go down just a little bit. They've got all the different kinds of practice test questions that are there, like I spoke of earlier today. So, all the different kinds that you would get on the GED test. And then when you take that practice test, it actually generates a study plan. So it tells you which lessons to take. So good publishers will actually have a question aligned to part of a lesson someplace. So in this case, that's what he's done. If you get a question wrong, it'll be tied particularly to a lesson. And so if you get it wrong, that'll be part of your lesson plan. So in a way, that's kind of good, right? It's really concentrates on that. And then There's all practice lessons for all the subject areas, so that's good. He says Common Core state standards, and I need to actually get him to correct it, because what it doesn't mean is Common Core, it means what is it? Career readiness, right? Like spacing it out, which is based on Common Core. And then all of your activity is monitored and tracked. And as a student, you can see how you're doing. As an instructor, and so I actually want to get to that point right now, because there's not a lot that we can look at without actually getting into the program in full, and there's no sense to it right now. But let's say you go, I do have a couple of students, or a student or two, that really would like to do this in Spanish. And we do have some in Wisconsin Literacy that do use this program, that do have students that want to take it in Spanish. If you want access to this, just email your consultant, and your consultant will contact me, or you can just include me, A. Beeson at proliteracy.org, and the two of us will get you set up. Basically, we need your name and your email address as the instructor, so you have access, and the names and email addresses of your students that want to be set up into the program. It's not something where your instructor can just register a bunch of people into the program. You actually have to say who they are, and we get them to Len, and Len puts them into the program. So there's some control having to do with that. And it actually, in a way, it's kind of good, because it really controls, you don't end up putting a lot of garbage in, because garbage in, garbage out. This way we really control it. And also it's a double check to make sure the student isn't already in the program. And then walkthroughs, I got to tell you, once you're set up, all the walkthrough area information on this is clear as a bell. It's just super easy. And it's just really easy to go, how to learn to do the program. It's just very, very simple. And I think that's actually going to do it for that. Does anybody have any questions about the DCS GED Prep Online?
And I actually do. I might have missed it, but did you say these are offered to members of Wisconsin Literacy and Pro Literacy?
Yeah, no, through Wisconsin Literacy.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is not, this is a company that is not part of Pro Literacy or New Readers Press. I'm an independent sales rep, so I actually, once I started carrying New Readers Press, I really just focused on that, but I didn't want to let him go because I really like his product. Plus, New Readers Press doesn't have a Spanish version of GED online, so I wanted to hang, and they have no problem with me selling that.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Anybody else on this? All right, so let's take a look at New Readers Press Online Learning. Okay, quick reminder. I am going to, once we get here, I'm going to want a little feedback from folks, okay? So I'm going to want you to pull up your chat and say, I want to look at this, okay? So if you want to look at the GED, if you want to look at pre-GED, if you want to look at one of the TABE ones, I tend to lean more towards looking at pre-GED, because it's it's a little bit easier reading level, and it's kind of fun, but it's really up to you. I'll have you guys chat in, and then whoever has the most, or the first person in, that's what we'll look at. So everybody lands at the same place. And so this is the login page. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And so as you go in and do this, clearly I can't type and talk at the same time, so sorry about that. Oops. Let's see how that works. Sometimes it's just a little bit slow, so we fill it in. It's like dead air, right, Marcia? Okay, so because I am an administrator and I've just signed in, all of you that would be teachers or institutional admins would come in and look at this is the page you would look at, okay? So just to give you a quick run through on what it is, it's listed right here. This is who I am, an institutional admin, which means I can pretty much do anything in this program. Contracts tell you what do you have access to. and in what time period. So people sometimes always don't know that, oh, when did I buy this product and when does it renew? It's always right there under contracts. You all don't have to worry about it, that you're Wisconsin literacy members. Then any instructor that I put in, and this, by the way, is my demo account that I just put stuff in and play around with when I do demos. All my instructors are all listed here. I've got 15 of them in the program. All the students that are in the program, I've got 36 of them in there, and people that are administrators. So if I want to go to any one of these things, you can see as I move the mouse, it highlights, you just click on it. So right now I'm under classes, and so I've kind of filled out a couple of different, classes when I've done demos and things like that. And I'm just going to not do it, but I'm going to show you how it is. I always look for the blue button and thing, right? So if I wanted to click a new, set up a new class, it's as easy as saying new class, right? And then once that comes up, and as a Wisconsin literacy member, you can actually just go in and you can name it your agency. Whatever it is, you name it, because there'll be other agencies that'll list up and different classes that'll be set up. So you put in something that you can find easily, quickly, that what it is. You can do an acronym, whatever you like. So you just type in what the name of your class is. So that's my pre-GED class, and you can say whatever your organization is. And I usually skip this part. We go to the next, and I'm going to cancel this thing out. And then what highlights here is right now, it tells me on the top what I'm doing. So instruction manager, this is telling me which instructors need to be the teachers here. And then once I do that, I click in, I have to go to the next, but the next thing I'll do will be student management. And then I'll be able to just click and add. So how I normally do things when I'm adding people to a program is I won't start out and set up the class. I'll make sure you're in first. So either I'll put you in or one of your consultants will. And then I like to help you train. So so if you really want to do this, as we get into it, if you want to do this, all you have to do is email me and we'll set up a Zoom meeting with you, me, and your consultant. And I will literally walk you through so that when we're done, you're done. You're in, your students are in, and you know what to do. Okay. So if you want to do that at any point in time, just reach out to me. And then like I said, I always like to loop in the consultant in case they want to sit in to get it going. We're just going to cancel to get out of this. And I'll just kind of show you where everything else is. I'm still processing here. What the other things that happen here is, sometimes in some programs, when you sign in, you've got to sign out and then sign in someplace else to get to the student program. You don't have to do that here. So what I do here is click on my courses, and I click on the drop-down menu, and it gives me all kinds of different options on what I want to jump to. So in your case, you don't have any of the high set stuff, but you pretty much have everything else. So you have the GED, you have the pre-GED, and I think we did add language, a couple language, Marcia. Yeah, I said a few seats. So in the chat, type in, I need to type in if you want to see GED, pre-GED, or tape. And you're going to have to let me know how people are responding.
We've got a pre-GED has popped up first, Anne.
Oh, that's the one we're doing. Right. Part of the reason why I want to do this. Now, would you like to do, I'm just going to click on social studies, okay? Everybody okay with that? We'll just take a look at that, just see how that looks. So I think actually Marcia and I jumped in here not too long ago, so which is kind of good. I think I'm going to remind that later. This is the beginning of every course. It visually looks like this, regardless of what you're doing. I'm on a laptop right now. This also works on a smartphone, and it also works on a tablet. If you're going to use a smartphone or the tablet, you can download an app, which in this case is really excellent because it just functions better in an app format. In addition, sometimes students get a little bit uptight about using up minutes, if they've got a specific plan. One of the first things that my buddy who's the rep in Georgia and I did was we played around with this and figured out how to do this, and we just did the happy dance when we were all done. You can actually download the app. You can, and then open it up, sign in, and then go on airplane mode, which doesn't use data, right? Then when you're done doing your work, close the app. Don't just, slide. If it's an iPhone, right? So I'm not just getting rid of it. I'm swiping it to close it completely. And then next time I'm someplace where I have free Wi-Fi, then I open up the app and it uploads your information up to the cloud so your instructor can see how you've done. And then yours is also logged that way too. So there's a way to do that without actually using any data. Really like that. So let's just take a look and see how this actually works. What I like about how this is set up is that it gives me the ability to set a time frame. You can always reset it, but it's good to make it because what it makes is it's a goal setting. So if I'm in I'm sorry, I grabbed GED social studies. Shame on me. I'm going down. Sorry. Let's do that instead. Let's go to pre-GED. So that's all I had to do to get to the next program was to just go to the drop-down menu and go to someplace else. We are gonna reset that to April, and let's do it April 30th. So here's the thing that's cool about this. I've given myself till April 30th to finish this course. How do I do that? If you look directly to the right, you can see that here, what we have listed is called knowledge goals. A knowledge goal is made up of a knowledge point. Knowledge point equals roughly a minute. Okay, so what I need to do to finish this course, this pre-GE, pre-HSC social studies course, I need to put about 20 minutes in every day between now and April 30th, and I will have completed it. That's not a lot, right? So that's something that's, so you can see what your progress is. And I've actually gone in and out to play with this, so you can see that I'm about 7% in, which is, not great, but it's something. And then if you look at a screen like that, what do you got to do? I say always look for the blue bars. The blue bars usually tell you to do things. So in this case, what I've done is I've actually bypassed a few things. So since I've gone in and out and done different things, right now it's telling me that I need to go to Unit 1, Lesson 1, and work on geography and geographic tools, which we will do in a second. But let's see what the course looks like, okay? If you are familiar with the New Readers Press pre-HSC course skills books, the content from those print books are here. It's online. Now there's some modification that has to happen because it's online and there's different things that you can do that you can't do in print and things in print that you can't do online. So some modification, but for the most part, it's all set up the same. So to see what it looks like, I'm going to click on this course here because that's going to give me the outline of what everything looks like. The very first thing here is you can see Unit 1. So like every book that we've been doing lately, it starts out with unit and lesson, unit, lesson, then a pre and a post test before and after. Sometimes there's unit reviews, so like quizzes at the end of a unit. Same format follows here. What we're not actually seeing here, because we're only looking at this part of the course, is there is an introductory course or a little lesson that you do that everyone needs to do for every subject at least once. It won't take long, but it actually tells you how to make the program work, what to click on, where to go, what to do. Everyone should do this, including every instructor. So you can see here that the very first one, and Unit 1, it's on geography. And then we get into this is more like, world history. And this is really all, geography, all kinds of geography things that are all aligned to the GED test. But it's really like, like you have to do addition, subtraction, fractions, decimals before you can do algebra. Same thing goes here with social studies. Same goes for science and reading and writing as well. So you really have to get the basics down, and there's more practice in that area. And it's written at a 6th to 8th grade reading level. So, students that might be struggling would really benefit for that. The other thing is, if you look at your GED students, and I would be totally one of them, right? I could kick easily RLA, social studies, and science, but it would be a bad day if I tried to take the math test. It's just not going to happen. I need to go way down. I might have to do adding fractions, okay? Like we all know, everybody says an adult ed. Everyone has to start with adding fractions. So, and I would have to be that way too. So it's having that a flexibility. You could have a student going in and working on the GED level on 3 subjects, and then working on the pre-GED or even the TABE prep in math to help get your scores up. So that's the thing that's actually kind of nice. I am going to actually jump right into a lesson just so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to take a peek at geography and geographic tools. So you kind of see physically what you're doing in the program. So we're starting out, and this is actually guiding practice. I don't really want to do that. Hang on one second. Let's go back. I'd like to go at the beginning of a. Let's do this. This is much better. I want to start with the beginning of a unit so you can kind of see how it goes in that order. So this is a really short one. There's only 2 knowledge points. So that tells me this thing is definitely going to be short. So I'll click on this first. And this is the first thing we're going to do. Now, you are going to have to do some reading. It's how it's working. It's how you've got to learn it. So this is going to be the introduction to it. So we have to read this right now. If I click on this word that's highlighted, if I highlight this and play.
Hunter-gatherers, people who survive by collecting wild plants and hunting animals or fish.
So if you need that audio backup, it's there. You'll find it at the pre-HSC level courses, the pre-HSC courses, and the TABES E and M courses. We didn't do it for GED because you really don't automatically get that support. So it's not there. And for the higher level TABE, same thing goes there. They don't really give you the audio. To access the audio to read it out loud, it's on the right-hand side. You can see there's this button here, and we'll click on it and read. You already know how it sounds like, so we'll let it go. So as we look here, we're introducing this concept of settlement of the Americas, like what happened, what it's all about, and really what you're going to be learning. And where it goes. So, and here's some key terms that you want to learn because that's going to be part of your practice. So this will go here. Now, what do we do next? I can see that there's a blue button over here, so I know I got to do something. This part is pretty cool. And it was my husband who reinforced how cool it was, because at first I was like, I don't want to slow down. I just want to keep going. When it says rate your competence, the question is asking you this: how comfortable are you with the information on this slide? So if in my head, I would go, I could repeat this in my sleep. I know it so well that I would click on high, right? Okay, I kind of get it. I kind of don't get it. I'm kind of on the fence. I would hit medium. I would click low is if I don't really get it, and I think I'd probably want to go back and look at it, but I just don't want to stare at it now, right? So in order to go on, you have to click something. If you can't make a decision, just click medium. Because when this is all done, this information is being gathered for you as a student, and your teacher can see it as well, but can see where you're struggling and where you're not. Because at any point in time, you can go back and work on this information simply by clicking at everything that was you listed as low. So that's pretty cool. You can see the button now got highlighted, so I can move on to the next page. And this goes into some, information on civilization in North America, and then the Native Americans, the Iroquois Confederacy, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of things that are here. Like in this case, there's a little video that's built in. It's very cool. I hit that. I don't always hit that. So vocabulary tips. If I show this, it'll give me a little bit more information about. So it's really kind of an interesting way to see why words come up in this particular area and what they matter. Agriculturists are people who raise crops. Pastoralists are people who herd animals. It's kind of interesting. So, and this is also helping you build that reading skill, which you'll find in most of the pre-HSE stuff, regardless of the subject area. You're going to see in, reading instruction, because if you're at 6 to 8, you got to push it up to pass the GED test. Okay. So we like this one a lot. We remembered it all. We'll continue on. And so you kind of get the sense how this all works. There are other things you can do. I know this is a little bit, we're just reading stuff and looking at pictures, but there's some things that you can do. Let's say, for example, you go, here they go, as the Maya declined, the Toltec and later Aztec became powerful. I want to ask my instructor about that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually highlight a section. So what I did was I highlighted it with my cursor so that it was highlighted in blue. And then I clicked on the highlight button right here. It's now highlighted. The other thing that's cool, every time I highlight something, it's listed here. So, and this works on bookmarks and on notes as well. So if I click on that, oops, sorry. I know I'm on geography in the world. I'm going to open this up, and I've saved 2 of these in here. Oops, wait, maybe I didn't. I did not. Here. There we go. So this is the section that I saved. And then if I want to go to preview the lesson, I can just click on it here. And if I said, oh, I took care of that, I can just delete this here and it's gone, right? So then we're going to use the arrow back to get to me where I was. Notes are a great thing to do, because bookmarks and notes, because that will actually help you. If you want to ask a specific question, you can write a note and then, say about that particular area. Once you go through a lesson, the next thing you actually do is look at flashcards. So instead of going through the lesson all the way to get there, let's just jump to flashcards, because I kind of really like these. There's a listing here of 304 flashcard questions. Now on my monitor, it doesn't look like it, but I think you can probably all see that this is actually, in fact, a 3x5 card. The word is showing here. If I click on the word once, it flips it over and gives me the definition. And I go, wait, what is the word again? It's compass rose, okay? Map feature shows the map's orientation of northeast, south, and west, okay? Then at the bottom, it's going to ask you this question. Did you get it right? If you said, no, I didn't get it right, as you start shuffling through all of these, it'll come back to you more often, okay? If you say kind of, you'll kind of see the word coming back as you shuffle it more often. If you say yes, you're not going to see it very many times at all once you shuffle, okay? And shuffle actually is up here in the upper right-hand corner. You can just shuffle it and it'll just bring up any kind of word, okay? Oh, I think I better show you what that is. It just popped in the upper right-hand corner. I just earned a badge, and we love stinking badges, right? Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to click here. I just opened up, throughout this product, as you go through it, you can earn badges doing all kinds of crazy things. I'm going to go back and show you the whole list when we get to the end, because it's really kind of fun. It's kind of hilarious. So you can see there's a whole bunch of ones that I just happen to be opening up, these badges that I've earned. And by the way, that would be a great contest if you were working with students. Like, how many badges can you earn in the next 30 minutes? So that would be entertaining. So Affordable Care Act, here's the word that just happened to pop up. A law that expands access to healthcare insurance plans. Okay, yeah, we kind of know what that is. We see yes, yes, and we say yes. As soon as you do that, it's going to, and now it looks like it's kind of doing a little bit of alphabetical. We'll see. I think if you just keep shuffling, Yeah, I think shuffling is just bringing it all over the place. Okay, so I say, yes, we know what that is. So every time you do this information is going to be logged. Then let's take a look at practice questions, because once you do the lesson, the next thing it brings you to is to work on the flashcards. And then when you're done, playing around the flashcards, and you go down to practice questions. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I need to go back to flashcards for a second because there's a couple things that are cool. When you're under study up here, this is all of the questions. When you're under my set, you can actually set up a list of words that you want students to work on. And I think as individuals, you can do it as well. People really haven't done this in my program, so because I've been playing around in this, but you can set up anything you want. If you just want to focus in not the 304, but, maybe 10 or 15. Community sets, under this, there's a number of people that have set them up. I know some of my buds have done it, where they put particular cards together, and they can say it's a community thing, which means that anybody who gets on a New Readers Press online learning can use this. It just tells you who set it up, what's it about, and what the words that are in it. And then, there's that thing that every once in a while you go, wouldn't it be great if I could see the whole list and print it? There you go. How's that? You can print it here. If you do study, it'll do that flashcard thing back and forth with you. But you can actually print this document right as it is. So every word that's here and what the definition is. I can think of all kinds of contests and fun practice things and games to do with stuff like this. That would be lots and lots of fun. So practice questions. In this particular thing, this is going to tell you everything you've done so far. So you wouldn't here really go to really do the practice question, but you can right here, like jump into something and do something. So I've done some of these, and how I've done it kind of like guessed, and because I don't want to get everything right because that's annoying. But here we go. Let's do founding of a new nation just to kind of see what it looks like. Now I'm going to start this. I haven't started it yet, but it's setting it up. And it's telling me that there's 7 questions that are here. When I'm done, it's going to tell me my average answer time. At the pre-HSC level, it's not that important, but as you get higher up, it is. So once you get, as you get really more familiar with it, you want to increase that amount of time, or you want to analyze how you do things. So for example, I think it's more appropriate with math, but if there's a math question, you go, oh, this is the one that I really had the hardest time with. Maybe you're skipping that and you're going back to it, and you're answering the rest of the questions maybe faster, so that gives you more time to finish other questions. So again, this is practice, and it usually happens after you've done the instruction in an area. So to start the practice, I will click here. And this is from the Federalist paper number 10. And it's based on this excerpt. Of course, we haven't read it. The author's opinion is that factions are necessary. So we'll confirm it. Oh, we got lucky. Okay. I love it when that happens. Okay, we got it right. Now we got it right. But here's the thing that is pretty cool. This isn't like taking a test, right? This is like guided instruction. So we do the instruction, so it's gradual release of responsibility theory, which is really works well in adult ed, and New Readers Press follows it in all of their new material now, because it's when they've been doing it for a while, actually. So do the instruction first, then we kind of guide you along the way, and then by the time you're the place taking the test, you're on your own, right? Okay, so and this is the guided practice. So it's not just going to give you the answer, but it's going to give you an explanation. So the correct answer is the author believes factions are necessary. Okay, so to continue on, oh, by the way, if you don't want the feedback, you can turn this review answer to off. But I always like the idea of turning it on, because this is guided instruction. This isn't taking a test. Okay, so continue on to the next one. We are in the next one, right? Yep, we are. Same Federalist number 10. In the first paragraph, the author makes claim that ending liberty and making people blank are the only way to avoid factions. Should I say join the military? Let's see what happens. Oh, I got that right. That just seemed right. Okay, we'll go on and then we'll just, so you kind of get a sense how this works. Sorry, my hand is up and I'm not sure exactly. I think because I talk with my hands, sorry about that. Okay, the main claim in paragraph 2 is that liberty is oh, good. I finally got something wrong. And why did you just see what it looked like? Okay, got something wrong. So I got that right. And it said, okay, is not worth is wrong and more important than avoiding factions. Okay. And, now some of these really have, it's kind of simple, and how they're on, what they're, so I can just do that lower hand. Excellent. Okay. Sorry. Um, when you get into math areas, it's going to give you more detailed steps on like what is the exact steps you do to answer this question correctly. Some of these are pretty simple. I mean, there's no sense in going into a whole lot of detail. So that kind of gives you a sense. We're going to say, because we're done doing this, right? So I can say done practicing. It doesn't mean that I'm done. I can go back and finish at any time. So I love that part. It doesn't have, and so far, we got 67% correct, which means that I've got 2 out of 3 that I got right. It takes me about 21 seconds to answer a question, so that's helpful. These are the 3 questions that I answered. Okay. If at any point in time it's telling me, there are check marks in green, that I got them right, and then the red one that I got wrong. If I want to review any of these, if I want to preview the question, I can go right there to see what the question was. Or if I want to actually review the lesson itself, this will take me directly there. So I kind of like that. And then when you go to tests, sometimes students will like to go in, like for example, this will be actually a good way to kind of see where all the tests are in this program. So the pre-HSC social studies pretest, I'm obviously Christmas treed this one because I have an undergrad degree in American history and American studies, graduated summa. Okay, so yeah, Christmas treed this one. But the pretest had 48 questions on it, and you can start them and stop them. You don't have to finish all in one setting, which is excellent at the pre-GED level. And then I'm kind of a fan of, you want to answer the questions you can answer, because if you don't answer them, you can easily see where you need to work on. It's not actually going to assign things to you. Everything is always open to you on whatever it is you work on. So you as a student are in control of what you study. As the instructor, you have the ability to assign just a particular course. So let's say, you've got a student who might be a little bit random, likes to, jump from one thing to the next, but you want them to just kind of focus on one thing. Like, here's the goal. The goal is to finish the reading and writing course in the pre-HSE in order to be able to get to the GED, then to pass the test, right? And then move on. So you actually can control it by saying, I'm just going to assign the GED RLA course or the pre-GED social studies course or reading and writing course. And that way they only have access to that one thing. But that one thing they do have access to, they have full, complete control on being able to do whatever they want to do. I don't recommend going in from the test area and starting to take tests because that isn't going to do you any good. Unless you're taking the very test, very beginning pre-test. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Of course. No, you know what I want to do? I want to go back to home. There are some games here. Oh, some of them are kind of really, really brutal. You play this test, like the card picker or card hunter. If you play this and especially sudden death, you play this game where you try to answer the question, the first time you get it wrong, boom, you're done. So they're a little brutal, but they're kind of fun to do things different. And remember talking about achievement badges. I'm going to click on see all so you can see what's available here. So you can see some of the badges that are available. And I love the names of some of these things. Like, are we there yet? Which is what I said to my husband when we were driving up to Minocqua 3 weeks ago. Are we there yet? This one is complete 50% of the lessons. I haven't earned it yet, but it's so it's dark and it's locked still. But I did get this one. Answer a question correctly in less than 10 seconds, called 10-second car. Let's see, there's some that are fun. Oh, randomizer, that's the one that I just got. That's the first time I shuffled the flashcards in this particular course. So that was fun. That, if you're really having a hard time, it might be okay. You get a badge for that. It's answer 10 questions incorrectly, you can get a badge for it. So if you're having a bad day, there's an upside. Okay. Here we go. Let's go to Vegas. Answer 20 consecutive questions correctly. Oh, love it. First test. That's what I got for completing my first test. I like this. Sir flips a lot. Flip 500 flashcards in one sitting. I can't believe I didn't get stop. It's hammer time yet for pausing a test. I'll have to get in and do that. So I know it's kind of a fun thing and it's kind of ancillary, but it is kind of a fun thing to be able to do. I am going to go back to home because I actually wanted to talk about this. When we started, I set it up for April 30th. I was just randomly picking. I kind of tend to lean more towards 3 months, to really allow for some, easier work. Because, sometimes when you first start out, 20 minutes is a bit too much, but maybe not, And remember, you can always do things like, as an instructor, you get to assign what course people get. You can also actually go in and assign a particular lesson to a single student or a group of students. So maybe you want to, at the end of a lesson, you say, hey, next week we're going to work on this one thing. And so make sure that you open up your New Readers Press online learning app and go through this lesson. And then we'll go through it as a class next time we're together, or with a group, or with my, a single person. I do have a lot of folks that use this program. It's really actually a lot of fun. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I don't really want to get into any more detail, but this is like, doesn't matter where you go. This is pretty much what it looks like. It has different content. The TABE for the other courses, the TABE Mastery, the TABE Mastery is based on TABE 11 and 12. In the next 2 months, New Readers Press is coming out with their version of TABE 13 and 14, the print books. Once that is done, they will translate that data over to the online program, so it's TABE 13, 14. It most likely be a separate course. It will be similar because there's not massive changes for the 13, 14. But they'll probably do it separately because although a lot of people that are federally funded have to be able to use TABE 11 and 12, only until June 30th, but some people are getting, permission to use it longer. And if you don't use the TABE test, that doesn't matter. And here's why. Especially if you've got students that are functioning at a lower reading level. So let's, while I'm talking, I'm just going to jump into the TABE reading. Let me go reading. Let's go to E. I'll put that open. For example, all these assessments, whether they are, oops, hold on. Let's go take care of that. So there we go. If you are, if you've got students that are reading at a lower reading level, so TABE E is going to be, I can't get the numbers off the top of my head, but I would say probably a 3rd to 5th grade reading level. You might, if somebody knows the right answer, that'd be great. But they're a lower reading level. They can take advantage of using this TABE ebook or the TABE reading E level. It has audio support with it, like the pre-GED course does. And the test itself is based on the career readiness standards, the college and career readiness standards, and every assessment that is used by the National Reporting System that tells identifies what level people are at. These tests are approved to match that. So even though you're not using the TABE, it doesn't matter. You can use this resource because it is aligned to those standards. And that's really, really what you need in order to get the student at a higher reading level. What's cool about these is that the TABE if you get a TABE reading, you get all 4 the levels. So you can start working in E, and then from there you can go M, D, and A to the highest. If you're at a higher level of M, you can be working on your pre-GED for sure, and even your GED. You know, it's that how it's set up. I've just heard it more than a few times. Let me just see if I can get into the course real quick. If anybody can just interrupt and ask any questions, because this is the same thing. Like, I've done lots and lots of pilots for folks before they buy, which I think is a brilliant idea. Use the program for no cost for 3 months. So this for you, it's not going to matter, because if you're a Wisconsin literacy agency, you already have access to it. My job for you would be, if you want to try and use it with a student, even if it's a single student, doesn't matter. I'll help you walk it through. If you have all the information, we'll Zoom it, and then I'll do hands off, and then you can go through, and I'll tell you what to do so that you physically can have done it and know you can do it. And there is no technology level I can't work with. I'm just telling you that. Okay. So if you're feeling kind of uncomfortable, no worries. I can help you. Because I've been there more than a few times, and been doing this for a long time. And I always channel the teacher who struggles a little bit with technology. It's how to make it a little bit more comfortable and easy to use. Let's see. Let's take a look at the course. I just want you to see what the really low reading level looks like in TABE. Here we go. So you can't, don't expect a student that's at illiteracy to a 3rd grade reading level. Probably going to have a bit difficult time. But this is, we'll see. Maybe if you're working with an instructor, it might work out just fine. So here we're just identifying long vowel sounds, what they are, and some examples of those words. There is audio. I just clicked on it.
Long vowels.
Can you hear that?
As you know, the English alphabet is made up of 26 letters. Most of these letters are consonants.
Let's slow it down.
5 of them are vowels. The vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. When we speak, we make vowel sounds differently from consonant sounds. Understanding vowels is an important skill in
I don't see
sounding
the
out
difference.
words.
Did anyone hear the difference?
Long vowels sound like their name. In teaching materials,
There we go. So you can see that, it's strange. On this one, it actually doesn't sound like it's slowed very much. I almost want to ask the question, hey, someone check this out, make sure this is working. But normally it does. It's a little bit slower, but it doesn't sound like it's it actually is just at a slower pace. So you can kind of see how that works. And now we're going to do some short vowels, and then we're doing a little bit of visual learning. We want to try it. Which one of the following words has a short vowel sound? Oh, you know what? I think you can guess, but you think there you go. The word truck has a short U vowel sound. So it's actually not making you guess something. It's just saying you can maybe think it in your head and then you give you the answer. So I kind of like that. Same thing. So you kind of see how it functions. It has the same kind of information as you do. And all the different things like confidence level, notes, bookmarks, and highlights are all there. And you know what? I love that we're kind of done early. What do you think? I will take any questions from anyone at any time if you have questions. Or better yet, is there anybody on this who has been using this, or could have some feedback to offer? Or it's 4:22 and everybody's saying, oh, please, let's finish early.
Well,
Okay.
and you may be right. But again, I want to emphasize those of you who are Wisconsin literacy members, and it looked like almost everybody here is, please reach out to your regional consultant, and we can help connect you with this program. I taught for a number of years and used this, and really, really found it very helpful. It wasn't the bulk of what we did, but it was certainly something that helped support what we were doing in the classroom. So I definitely encourage you to do that.
I put up that slide, the slide we had created, what the resources are and the websites. That's kind of hard to do when you're just like looking at it and trying to write it down. But if you just type in News for You online, or if you go to New Readers Press, the website, at the bar at the top, the last one on the right hand side says News for You online, and that takes you there. And then DCS, I just trying, hey, will it pop up because I always like to try if you can just get it on Google. And if you go DCS GED Prep Online, it pops up
Mhm.
right at the very top. And then New Readers Press Online Learning is onlinelearning.newreaderspress.com. And there's a lot of information on the New Readers Press website. I guess this is something I always like to tell everybody, regardless of whether you're using New Readers Press Online Learning or one of the other. If you're using any New Readers Press products, as you whatever product you're looking at, you click on it, you see these little thumbnail pictures. If there's a particular product, let's say it's whatever, it's New Readers Press Online Learning, you're looking at the TABE courses, right? You could click on TABE Reading, and then if the picture gets big on the left-hand side of the screen, then scroll down. That's where all the free resources are. So a lot of times it's like how to download the app, how to do different things, what the correlations are, if you need that. Any kind of free resources that have been developed, they will put them there. But you have to click on the little picture till it becomes big on the left, and then scroll down. That's where all the free stuff is, and that's regardless of what the product is.
And we love that free stuff.
Oh, who doesn't?
Yes. Well, Anne, thank you, thank you, thank you. This was a ton to go over, and you did it really, really well. I
Oh,
can't thank
good.
you enough.
Oh, you're
And
welcome. It's my pleasure.
appreciate you being here. Anybody, if a question pops up, throw it in the chat as we say our goodbyes. But I want to thank you all for attending the online resources for students, News for You, and the GED online programs.